Hari Om friends, welcome to the ninth part of the series on the introduction to the Vijayanagara Empire. So in the last part we had a look at the situation in Karnataka, so the Hoysalas and the Pandyas in Tamil Nadu, and what was the situation between the two brothers, uh, Veera Pandya and Sundara Pandya. Okay, so again people correct my pronunciations, thank you very much, because my pronunciations are not perfect. So let's continue on with this series. So in this series we'll tackle Malik Kafur's attack on Dwarasamudram, which was the Hoysala capital, and on the Pandya kingdom as well, which was the first time that Muslims had penetrated so far deep south. So Muslim presence was always there in southern India, and by different accounts, Veera Ballala had around 10 to 20,000 Muslim mercenaries in his army. So these were mostly the Arabs, so Yemenis, Syrians from what is today's Saudi and so on. And even the Pandyas had quite a few, I think almost 20,000 Muslim mercenaries in their army. Whereas the Muslims were invading from northern India, were primarily Turks, converted Turks, Persians, converted Mongols. So more of the Central Asian and Iranian kind rather than the Arabs. Okay, so let's move on with this set of slides. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so this is the map again. Like I said in previous episodes, I made this a long time back. So I lost the original image which I had created. So this is again extracted from one of my PowerPoints. So not very great, but I'll just try and get my pointer on. So this is the city, one of the cities of Delhi. So there are different cities of Delhi. So Prithviraj Chauhan's city is known as Kila Rai Pithora, and Alauddin Khilji founded Siri, and so on. So this is the route marked in red is Kafur's route, from Agra to Chanderi in Madhya Pradesh to Achalpur, which is a very strategic town. So there are mountain passes here, and once you get out of the pass, the first city or town you hit in across the Vindhyas is Achalpur, and then on to Devgiri, and so we know that Ramaraya's Yadav kingdom was pretty much under the control of Alauddin Khilji. So Ramaraya had no option but to kind of offer help to Malik Kafur. And there is a controversy as well whether Ramaraya was actually the king at that point of time or not, but we'll tackle that in a different video. So we'll just assume that Ramaraya was the king of the Yadav kingdom. So on 13th, so somewhere around January or February, Malik Kafur was in Pandharpur. So in Muslim records, this is known as Bandri. And it is assumed to be Pandharpur. So somewhere on the border between the Hoysala kingdom and the Yadav kingdom. And I'm looking at my notes as well. So Kafur started from here with the help of, I think, the commander of the Yadav kingdom was known as Parshuram. So with the help of Parshuram, who showed him the route, he reached Dwarasamudra, which was the Hoysala capital, on 25th February 1311. So there are different accounts. One account is that the Hoysala capital was very badly damaged, almost destroyed, and Veera Ballala was actually campaigning in Tamil Nadu. He was trying to grab territory from the Pandyas at that point of time. Another account is from the Muslim account, and I'm getting this from Professor K.S. Lal's book on the Khiljis, that Kafur offered Veer Ballala two choices: you either convert to Islam or you pay us the tribute. And Veer Ballala's advisors actually told him that we need to fight, and Veera Pandya from Tamil Nadu also sent in contingents to help Veera Ballala. But one of the ministers called Keshava, he went to the Muslim camp and he saw the strength of the Muslim army. So I think Kafur had started with 10,000 cavalry. And obviously you need to remember it was not just 10,000 horsemen, but there was a wide support mechanism as well. So typically horsemen would have 2 to 3 attendants. So you could say the army was maybe anywhere between 20 to 30,000 strong. And Keshava Malla or Keshava, when he saw the camp, he came and advised that it's better to kind of pay the tribute because this is the person who defeated all these powerful Yadava kings and even in the north. So Kafur got the tribute from Veera Ballala, and he also put a condition that you have to show me the way and you have to guide me into Tamil country, into the Pandya country. So Kafur stayed at Dwar Samudra for a week and got Veera Ballal to guide him to the Pandya country. So he started from Dwar Samudra on 10th March 1311. Now the dates are quite precisely noted in the Muslim chronicles. And the route was very tough from Dwara Samudra down to Madurai, because they reached Madurai first, because Kapoor had received intelligence that Veera Pandya was actually at Madurai. And the route was so tough that few key Muslim commanders, one of them was called Abaji Mughal, they actually tried to desert to the Hindu camp, which was Veera Pandya's camp. But there was a skirmish with Veera Pandya's men, and in that confusion, Abaji Mughal kind of ran back. And Malik Kafur by this time had already got to know of his plans, so he was put in chains for the rest of the trip. And they arrived at Madurai, where a general massacre took place. Now again, there are two versions. So this version is from Kishori's Professor K.S. Lal's book. There's another version. I don't remember whether I got it from Professor Nelaturi Venkataramaniya's book or Professor S.K. Iyengar's book, where it says that Madurai was under control of Sundar Pandya, who was the brother of Veera Pandya, but they didn't get along together, which was why there was a civil war going on in the Pandya kingdom. And Kafur tried to attack Madurai, but he could not attack Madurai. So he could not, because it was too strongly defended. But the Muslim chronicles say that the general massacre took place at Madurai, where the temples and everything were burnt, destroyed, and a lot of people, Brahmanas, were killed. So it might be possible that outside the fortified, city of Madurai, outside the temple complex, in the surrounding areas, the Muslim armies wreaked a lot of havoc. Now, Veera Pandya fled towards Kandur, which is Kananur. So I'm not sure where it is exactly on the map, maybe somewhere here. And Kafur chased him with his cavalry, because it is a very fast moving force. But what had happened around this time was there were heavy rains, so the entire country was covered with water. If you have seen, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka during the rains, you will understand what I mean. So it was completely covered in water. And around this time, 20,000 Muslims from Veera Pandya's army also deserted to Kafur's army. So his strength basically doubled. And these were, the Arabs, Yemeni, Syrians, and their descendants who were serving under the kings of South India. And they kind of informed him of Veera Pandya's whereabouts. But the rain had made the whole land like an ocean. And Veer Ballala was the one who guided Kafur's army through this ocean. And again, in these rains, cavalry action became pretty much useless. So at several points, at one point, Veera Pandya's army attacked Kafur's army, and the battle was so fierce that for a moment Kafur thought of retreating as well. So he attacked Kananur or Kandur, and again Veera Pandya was not there. So there was again general massacre, and he looted around 120 elephants and some treasure. But Veera Pandya's main treasure had already gone away. The next stop in the search for Veera Pandya was Chidambaram. So Kafur attacked Chidambaram, conducted a general massacre of Brahmanas, and this is the Madurai Meenakshi temple. So this is what is remains of Kananur. I think it's not a city anymore. It's probably a village or a small town now. So this is one of the ancient temples, and Kananur was also the southern base of Veera Ballala. I'm not sure whether it was at this point or prior to this or later. And this is a shot of the Chidambaram temple, I think from 1870 sometime. So how the temple looked. So there was general massacre at Chidambaram, and the Shiva temple was completely destroyed. So the Shivalinga was completely uprooted, and many Brahmanas were killed. So one of the Muslim statements which Amir Khusro, the so-called Sufi, makes is the heads of the Brahmins and idol worshippers came dancing from their necks to their feet. So typical brutality. And I met someone once who was chanting praises of Amir Khusro, and Amir Khusro was a Krishna devotee, and I asked him these questions, but people have no answer, so they just kind of ignore and stick to whatever they want or like to know. Okay, so next stop was Sri Rangam. So again, and quite an old photo I got from Wikipedia. So you can see these massive and really beautiful gopurams. So Srirangam was attacked again, a general massacre and looting was done. And there are a few stories of how the idol of Ranganatha was saved, but we won't go into that. So unable to find Veerapandya, Kafur kind of started a campaign of loot and massacre throughout the place. But what happened in the meantime, and again, this is not in the Muslim version, and I'm not surprised because they typically don't write about Muslim defeats. Only a few Muslim accounts are honest enough to do that. So as soon as Kafur made camp, I believe somewhere near Madurai, uh, Vikrama Pandya, who was Kulashekara Pandya's, so Vikrama Pandya, who was Kulashekara Pandya's brother, and Veera Pandya's and Sundar Pandya's uncle, he was 80 years old and he gathered all the Pandya forces and he launched a massive attack when it was raining and the land was flooded. So the Muslim or the Turk cavalry could not use their composite bows because in the rain, obviously, you can't do it. Because the bows get wet, are affected by damp and humidity, plus the bowstrings are not taut or tight enough to fire, and there was a massive slaughter of the Muslim forces, and Kafur barely managed to escape with his life. But by this time he had already sent the treasure en route to Delhi. So Kafur escaped with his life, but a lot of Muslim forces were destroyed. But the Muslim sources don't refer to this. What they say is after reaching Madura, they set fire to the temple of Shiva and decided to return home. But again, the another account says that Madura was too well defended, so they couldn't attack it. So the loot from this campaign, which Barani refers to, was 512 elephants, 20,000 Arabian horses, 96,000 muns of gold, and 500 muns of jewelry. So massive loot. So started back on 25th April 1311 and arrived in Delhi after 6 months, so or somewhere around October. So on 18th October, Alauddin Khilji held a big darbar outside Siri, where Kafur and all the key commanders were honored. And what Barani says is, since the time when Delhi was captured and the Muslims got access to massive wealth of the Chauhans, such treasure was never seen in Delhi. Even after Devgiri had been looted, Gujarat had been looted, the treasure from southern India, from Karnataka and especially Tamil Nadu, was immense. This was all temple wealth really. And either Veer Ballal, who is known as Veer Ballal III or Tritiya, or his son Veer Virupaksha Ballal, one of them was taken as a hostage to Delhi and they were kept for some time, or one of them was kept for some time. Again, it's not very clear who. And Alauddin Khilji, because of the help they had rendered, or Veer Ballal had rendered to Kafur, he presented with I think 10 lakh tankas. So tankas were the currency of the day, and with a robe of honor and a chhatri. And I think after a year's time, Veer Ballal was sent back to Hoysala country or Karnataka. So this is it for this time, friends. So next part we'll look at Alauddin Khilji. So a brief introduction after Alauddin Khilji's death and a couple of rulers who came on the line before the big invasion started under Muhammad Tughlaq. So friends, if you have liked this video, please do remember to share, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Hari Om.